frog, owl,
Cat.
rat.
Yeah, he had a rat. I had a rat.
You had a rat that
had a
literally
rat.
turned into a person. What was his name? Wormtail?
Wormtail.
Wormtail?
That sounds right. Something tail.
He was ugly. His fingers were like...
He was ugly when he was a rat, too, so...
Yeah, but what was the name as the rat? It was like something so stupid, and then you were like heartbroken that he wasn't a real rat.
Or, like...
Snippers. It was something like that.
Yeah.
Snickers.
No, it wasn't Snickers.
Sorry.
No, it wasn't Snickers. It was,
Scabbers.
Scabbers.
Horrible.
Scabbers!
Horrible.
Scabbers!
Name. Horrible
Yeah,
name.
terrible name. Anyway, now that we're done with that... Welcome back to the GroupChat Podcast.
This is nice.
I know, it feels really good to do it. I don't even have much to say. The theme's pretty obvious today. But overall, the reason that we're doing this theme is because these were our Halloween costumes this year, and we never ended up wearing them.
We didn't.
And that was really unfortunate because every year our favorite costume, we always do like one good one, one bad one.
Like
And
one,
then-
like, we're gonna look so slay.
Yeah.
And then the other one is like, it's like, let's look as ugly as possible.
It's like supposed to be a joke, and then we just never got around to this one this year because the night that we were supposed to dress up like this, you and Mitchell had worked, right? Mm-hmm. And then you guys got home pretty late and you guys were really tired
Yeah, there was no way in hell
that you were going to go out.
It was going out. It was in the cards for me,
Yeah, I get it.
unfortunately.
I felt like you guys were so scared to tell me, remember? And then I was actually really understanding about it.
Yeah,
And you
oh
guys
my
were
god,
shocked.
we were literally at work like, oh, we're really gonna be in for it tonight. Like, shoot, like
She's going to kill us. Like,
she's gonna kill us.
Yeah.
And then we got home and you're like, okay, and you ripped off your round wig and you were like, I'll just be Hermione. And then you went out with
crimped
Bristol.
my hair. Yeah.
Can you tell what happened when you went out with Bristol that night?
What part of it?
The part with like,
Oh, yeah?
it's so funny to me.
Okay.
Tell it.
Okay, so the night that we went out, that night that you guys decided to stay in,
You guys were Draco
I-
and Hermione.
yeah, we went as Draco and Hermione because Bristol, my boyfriend, he was literally already going to go as Draco and we were just going to be Ron and Harry. So that was like already a part of the costume. He already had that costume. And then I was like, oh, well, like, I'm not going out dressed like a fucking dweeb by myself. Like, the whole point of it is to be with your best friend, and, like, it's hilarious and it's fun. So anyway, I ended up, like, taking off my wig, crimped my hair, and then I just went as Hermione or whatever. And it all came together fine. It was okay, you know? And we were out at the bar, and I've never told this story, though. I've never told, like, the whole, I'll bleep it, but the whole story in general.
I love that story.
Should I summarize it?
Yeah, just give it a quick little summary.
Okay. So there is a guy, we all call him and should we give him a name?
If you want to.
I just feel like I'm going to keep saying his name over and over again.
Yeah.
Let's call him Twinkle Toes.
Okay, yeah.
So Twinkle Toes is good friends with Bristol, or at least was, and I was really good friends with him as well. This was probably like 2 years ago now, and when we first all met. And me and Hannah were all friends. We always like hang out with the same friend group, whatever. And then that whole time I was with my ex, like 2 years ago.
Demon.
Terrible
We'll call him
guy.
Demon. For the story purposes.
Yeah. Anyways.
Ratty Demon.
Yeah, right. And Ratty Demon and Twinkle Toes became really good friends because this one time we like all went like on a camping trip. I feel like the story's really confusing, but I'm trying to skip over like the parts that I know are just so relevant.
Yeah.
We all went on a camping trip. Twinkle Toes and Ratty Demon become friends.
Right.
And I was like not getting good vibes from this because the week before we all went camping, I was coming back from a trip to Miami with our lovely friend Adam.
Mm-hmm.
And Adam and I were bored because we spent so much time. We drove to Miami and back. You know what I mean? Like, that's plenty of time in the car. You run out of things to talk about at some point, right? And so he just starts spilling all these secrets. And he tells me Twinkle Toes has had a crush on me since we first met, like, whatever it was at that point, a year or so prior. And the entire time I was obviously, like, in a relationship. And so I was like, oh, shit, like, this camping trip is going to be so weird now.
Because you know.
Because now I know.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, shit. Because, like, it was, like, a week after we got back is when we left for this camping trip. Mm-hmm. So it was that much time between. It was, like, right there, you know? And I love having this. I feel like I'm just, like, using it to, like, direct my story. Anyway.
It's amazing.
It is good. We go on this camping trip. They become friends, and it was really weird. Everybody got so pissed at Twinkle Toes.
Ratty Demon and Twinkle Toes.
Yeah. Everybody, like all of us, got so pissed at Twinkle Toes for acting the way that he was, because he was, like, not acting like his normal self. He was trying to act like a ratty demon.
He was trying to act like Ratty Demon 2.0.
Yeah. It was really weird. Like,
if you could follow this story, like, literally props to you.
Right.
But it's making sense to me.
It makes so much sense to me, but I also feel like it doesn't make any sense to someone who, like, doesn't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But we'll find out, I guess.
Basically, Ratty Demon was, like, an alpha male type person.
In the most toxic of ways.
And Twinkle Toes was just really trying to, like, catch on to that vibe. For no reason.
Yeah. No.
They were, like, taking off their shirts and flexing and...
taking pulls of Skull vodka on the top of, like, an abandoned RV. Like, in the middle of this campground. Like, it was so weird. Terrible, terrible vibes. Regardless, he ended up, like, a week after me and Ratty Demon break up, I, like, told all my friends to not say anything to him because I was like, I just don't know how it's gonna, like, go down. And so, like, we waited a couple weeks to even, like, tell him. And then one night, like, me and Twinkle Toes were just, like, hanging out talking. And I, like, accidentally, like, I let it slip, like, something about it because he, like, asked me a question in regards to Ratted Demon. And I love using these names.
I know.
And he was like, wait, like, go back. And I was hoping, like, he didn't catch it. But of course he did. Mm-hmm. And so then I ended up, like, I had to tell him, you know.
That you guys broke up.
Yeah. And then he was like, oh my God, I can't believe you didn't tell me. And I'm, like, sitting here like, well, you don't know what I know. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know that I know that you know.
Yeah, right.
You know? And then it was, like, maybe that following weekend, we all go to the bar. And, like, Twinkle Toes was, like, trying to be, like, all up on me. And that night, I'm like, this is my first time going out since I've been single. Like, I'm kind of having, like, a good time. I'm not doing anything weird, but I'm just, like, I don't care about anybody else. I'm just, like, doing my own thing. And he was, like, all up on me, and everybody was like, Mo, like, what's going on between you and Twinkle Toes? And I was like, nothing, why? And they were like, do you not, like, see this? Like, had I seen what was going on from, like, an outsider perspective, I would have been like, yeah, it looks like we're, like, literally in a relationship.
Like, get super mad whenever another dude would talk to you at the bar?
Yes, and he would keep going up to Adam and saying, I'm gonna fucking kill that guy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why are you talking about it like I'm your property?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah.
So weird. And Adam was getting pissed.
And, like, the thing about Twinkle Toes is, like, he is, like, a good guy and a good friend. Or
he is very good guy.
Like,
I'm not talking so much shit, but it was a bad time.
Whenever I go out with him, or used to go out with him, like, he was, like, the type of guy friend that, like, would protect you in case of, like, something like that.
Well, right.
But, like, he was doing it a little bit overboard. A lot overboard
because he
in that
was getting
situation.
so, like, genuinely mad.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was just being protective and, like, trying to look out for you. It was, he was actually getting, like, fired up.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't handle
and
it.
The guys in question were, like, not doing anything.
No.
They'd be like, hey, what's your name? And they'd be like,
he was like, I'm gonna fight them. And Adam kept saying, like, calm down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he was like, take a chill pill. Anyways, overall, him and I are no longer friends because then after that I did go and pull some shit and start dating Bristol,
his best friend. But that's okay.
They're literally like, I sound like the villain in this story now, but I swear to you, it was not my problem that he had a crush on me like that and was taking it to that extreme. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there was obviously mistakes made between the two of us when he actually then came to me and told me that he loved me or whatever.
Yeah.
Ooh, not the wand.
Sorry.
Anyway, like, because it was like such a tough situation to be in. I mean, your best friend of how many years just told you that they're in love with you and they have been for the last how many years? And you're like, I don't feel that way about you. So, of course,
But
there's
unfortunately,
gonna
I feel that
be...
way about your friend. Unfortunately.
I feel that way about one of your best friends. And they were roommates at the time.
I don't think... Right. I don't think anyone in that situation was in the right, including Bristol, obviously.
Bristol was in so many wrongs.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
We're generally moved past it, but that's all of that was background for what we're telling you about this story.
Yeah.
So
now, diving into it.
Back to Halloween.
Yes.
Hermione and Draco.
Yeah. Hermione and
Hannah's
Draco were
at
at
home.
the bar. Vegging out.
Me and Mitchell were watching
rotting.
Special Forces with JoJo Siwa.
As you should, though. That sounds like a really good night. Anyway. So, I had to put my thinking cap on. Anyways. Thank you. Anyways, so we were at the bar, and Twinkle Toes, I did not see him, okay? But apparently, of course, he ended up being there.
And this was like a year after everything had happened. Like they were... You and Twinkle Toes were no longer friends. Hadn't talked for like an entire year.
He hadn't even really talked to Bristol.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was a long time after. But no.
There was still a lot of like beef.
I'm going to give this...
Unresolved beef.
Yeah. I'm going to give the girl a name. Her name is going to be Kesha.
Yes! Yes!
I love the names today. So Kesha...
Kesha's birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday, Kesha!
Happy birthday, Kesha. That was so ironic, actually, that I just said Kesha.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that about her. Anyway, good for her.
Kesha's birthday. Like, Kesha in the story's birthday.
I'm sitting here talking about the actual celebrity
You're like,
Kesha.
wow, happy birthday, Kesha.
Wow, Kesha.
I love TikTok. Like, love
Literally.
you.
I love TikTok. Okay, anyway.
Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Anyway, so Kesha and Twinkle Toes dated very, very briefly years ago when it was like when
the friend
he
group
had like a crush on me and like all that kind of stuff was going on. And there was a lot.
But clearly not a big enough crush to start dating somebody, so.
Right. I'm not even going to like dive into all of that because it's just way too many details. But a lot of shit went down.
But I think we should
period.
mention that Kesha. So we were in this big friend group with Twinkle Toes, and we were all good friends. Like, we didn't have any like feelings of like love towards Twinkle Toes, just straight friends.
Yeah.
And she came in like, she didn't come into the friend group, but like she started dating him and like thought that every one of his friends that were girls were like trying to literally fuck him.
Yeah.
And there was no,
it was never like
no
that.
vibes of that whatsoever. But like she didn't like any of us for literally no reason. And I remember the first time
she was definitely insecure
that I talked to her for real. She didn't say, hey, what's your name? She was like, do you have a boyfriend? She wanted to know if I had a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Because I was hanging around her man.
Yeah. It was weird vibes all around.
I think I did have a boyfriend.
I think you did at the time.
I don't remember what time that was.
But that's
not
like, really her business.
It was zero of her business.
So,
but anyways. Yeah. Like that was like, she was really like,
right.
We needed to make sure that none of us.
Yeah.
She was, yeah.
That was the vibe from her. Anyways. So there was a lot of shit that like went down between Twinkle Toes, Kesha, and the friend group, I guess, kind of. Not really the friend group, but like stuff that the friend group heard about, and
we were like, she's not really good for you.
No,
like,
right.
Twinkle Toes, like,
yeah. And then,
it just didn't seem like the best relationship. Whatever.
No. And then when I was driving back from Miami with Adam, obviously all the secrets came out, and then I came to find out that a lot of the stuff that went down between Twinkle Toes and Kesha actually had a lot to do with me. And it was just like a weird moment to like hear about it from that
end, like their
after
breakup.
it's been anyways, I ended up hearing from Bristol, who is still actually friends with whatever Twinkle Toes, and was not blocked on everything by Twinkle Toes, unlike myself. That Twinkle Toes and Kesha are now back together. Weird
because they were broken up for like at least a year.
Yeah,
probably longer than a year.
Kesha wouldn't let Twinkle Toes hit though.
Well, right,
the first time around.
Yeah.
So we're at the bar. Kesha walks out of the crowd and comes right up, catches me off guard. You know, small bar, very crowded.
To her in like at least a year.
Why would
and you guys were never friends.
No,
you guys actually got the vibe that she hated your guts.
Absolutely.
So it's very weird for her to walk up to you.
Yeah, and
directly.
She goes, "Oh my God, Mo, it is so good to see you. And when I first saw Kasha, I was
I
like,
wish you were actually dressed as Ron.
dude, that would have been crazy.
No, oh
But
my God.
I was like looking at her, and at first I was like, who is this? Like, how do I know her? Because that's how long it had genuinely been.
You guys
And I
know.
haven't even heard her name in forever.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden I see her, and I was like, then I put it together. And I was like, oh my God, Kesha, like, how are you? You know, like, trying to have, like, a nice conversation. Not that I think that she's a terrible person by any means. It was just kind of awkward knowing, like, what I know.
Because it's like you knew what she was doing when she walked up to you.
Yeah, yeah. And then she starts going, oh my God, like, did you hear? And I'm like, what?
Like, why would I hear anything
Hear
about
what?
your life?
Right. She goes, me and Twinkle Toys are back together. And I was like, yay! And when she said it, guess who walks behind her and walks right up by me and Bristol and Kesha? Twinkle Toes. He walks up right there, and I looked up at him like this. And his face was like this. And we were both just like, this is not good.
Yikes.
This is not a good situation to be in. That four, knowing what we all know, and being as involved as we all were, was a terrible group of four. Mm-hmm. Absolutely terrible. It could not have been worse. Anyway, she starts going on and on, basically trying to, like, brag to me that they're back together, and, like, saying all this stuff, and, like, trying to, like, pick at me and piss me off. Because then she would go, like, she obviously knows, like, the whole story, I would assume, about Bristol and I, and how that pissed off Twinkle Toes. So it's like, she literally kept going, oh, I see that you and Bristol are back, or still together.
Like, duh.
Right.
You walked up to us together.
Right. And then she goes, oh my God, yeah, I know. Like, I hope this isn't, like, awkward. Like, I just... Like, and I was like, why would you say that? Like, you very clearly are hoping that this is awkward.
Yeah.
Like, what a bitch.
Yeah.
In that moment, I was like, that is just so fucking rude, because I literally had nothing to do with their situation. Or whatever they are. You know what I mean? Obviously, now they're dating, but, like,
She was trying to rub in your face that she was with Twinkle Toes.
She thought that I was, like, jealous. I'm literally with Bristol. And I've never been happier.
Yeah.
Like, amazing guy. You know what I mean? So I was like, why are you literally coming up to me trying to brag about this?
Right.
When Twinkle Toes literally fucks every girl in sight. Like, I'm sorry, but baby, that's not a flex on your end.
No. And
anyway, that's the story of what happened at the bar when we were supposed to be dressed as Ron and Harry. And I honestly wish that I was dressed as Ron. Imagine this. And you're, like, trying to make me jealous of your mans. That's embarrassing. Holy shit.
What was their costume?
They didn't even have a couple's costume. She was God knows what, and he was a literal astronaut.
Like, God knows what.
They had nothing to do with each other. Like, it was, yeah. I don't even know what their her costume was. I remember he was an astronaut.
Wow.
Phone call.
Who's it?
A random number from California.
You should say Ron speaking. Come on.
I already closed it.
Shit.
If they call again, I'll answer and say Ron speaking.
Weasley residence. Do you guys like our themed glasses?
Our glasses? Our themed glasses.
I'm so sorry about that. I'm okay. so sorry.
I want to tell you something funny that I did the other day.
Okay.
This is what I was going to tell you earlier. But I honestly just think that it would be a lot funnier while I'm looking like that.
Okay, yeah,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean? The other day I have to confess.
Lumos! All right, continue.
You're done with the Lumos.
Why? We have wands.
I know.
Okay, go. Go.
I downloaded Bumble.
Awesome.
Because I'm banned from Tinder.
Me too.
You are. And
I think we got banned from Tinder. Well, actually, no. I think I got banned from Tinder when I turned my Tinder profile into a profile for me and you. And everybody thought we were looking for threesomes. And I think that's when I got banned.
100%. It probably is. I think
Which was honestly amazing for me.
Like,
I do not need to be on that app whatsoever.
I think I said something really foul. Not like in like a flirty way, but I think I like had something in my bio that was like had a bad word or something like that. Because I thought it was funny.
Right.
And then I got banned. But
Yeah. I'm
like, that's
okay
their
with
problem for being so sensitive.
I don't need it.
Anyway, I downloaded Bumble. I redid my profile, whatever. And I set my age group from 50 to 75 and
I
up.
knew it.
Yeah. And I'm messaging one guy. His name is Dion Mulkenton. I'm just I knew you were gonna say. I would shit, dude.
That's my uncle, bro.
And I always pronounce that last name wrong. It's Mokenteen.
My uncle Facebook friend requested Mo on, obviously, I don't know, Facebook.
Yeah.
Fucking duh. But like, Mo was like, do you know who Dion Mulkenton is? And I was like, that's my uncle.
It's so funny. It's really foul. No, this guy, his name is, I'll read the conversation because it's really funny. Actually, it's not even that funny. I just think it's like funny reading it, like looking like this.
Okay.
I said, hi, Dion, how are you? I loved your profile. And he said, I am great, how are you? I love bartenders, and I do travel the world, LOL.
Slay.
I said, I'm amazing. I would love to as well. And then I said, but I've never lived out of the state of Wisconsin, have you? He goes, I lived in Venezuela, off and on for 2 years, San Francisco for a little while, and winters in Florida.
Yes.
Yeah. He looks like this.
Bro, get it.
Thank you.
You like older men.
I saw the word busy CEO in his, you know, description, and I went, swipe right. I didn't even look at any other photos. I just saw CEO, and I said, perfect.
That's amazing.
And then there's this guy whose name is Chris. And I stopped messaging him because in the first message he sent me, he asked if we wanted to get together. So I said, hi, Chris. Really like your vibe. Hey, Moira. Thank you. I like your camping setup. I had that in one of my photos of my bio. He says, would it make sense to meet up and get to know one another?
No.
This is what he looks like.
No, sir.
He's 57. Introverted artist. That's what it says in his
I
thing.
will give you $20 if you put a photo of you dressed as Ron on your Bumble profile and be like, I like to have fun and dress up. Put that on there.
Oh my god, people are gonna think it's like foreplay.
Yeah,
so.
you should do it.
That's hilarious. He likes motorcycles. And he likes working out. He's actually really cute for being 57. But I'm not like into like...
Can I see it?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. This is him. He must be like...
Why do you look like he's on the red carpet in that one?
I know, that's why I swiped right. Because he looks like he's on the red carpet. I'll show it, the camera. If you can see that. Quick flash scheme.
So is that your new type now that you're single? Older men?
Yeah.
Old?
Perhaps. Since Gary decided to ghost my ass.
Dude, Gary's the blueprint. Like,
He is, though. And it's like, that's what I want. And I think that in my profile, I might just start, like, putting in there, like, looking nothing serious. Just want a guy to pay me money to hang out.
Yes.
But at least I'm honest and forward about it.
Right.
And I feel like, because then they're not going to swipe right on me if they don't fuck with that.
Right.
Because then I'm just filtering it out.
Excuse me while I readjust my robe.
Adjust your robe, King.
Thank you.
The way you did that was like, you know, I want... Oh, this is funny. You know those glambot photos from the red carpets? Mm-hmm. I want one of us looking exactly how we are now.
I think we can figure it out on TikTok or something.
I think we could totally make that. I just want it to like zoom, you know what I mean, at us. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll ask my dad. He's pretty crafty. I'll say, Dad, can you whip up a glambot?
He would absolutely do that.
I think he would. Adjust your glasses.
Okay, this is something I thought, or I remembered that happened to me a couple years ago.
What is it?
This was maybe like 2 years ago. I just remembered that this happened the other day. It's like really small, but I was playing volleyball, and one of my volleyball teammates, her cousin, would sometimes come and play with us, and I literally didn't know why.
Weird.
She was really nice. She was this little
like,
blonde girl, and she was so nice to me every time I saw her. Like, she would come and play with us. And then her cousin, the one that was on my team, literally told me one time, she was like, yeah, you know my cousin fucking hates you? And I went, me? Like, what the, don't know her at all.
Yeah.
Like, what did I do? Mm-hmm. She's like, so, like, she was, like, trying to, like, let me know and, like, be a good friend. But I was like, why? How is this, like,
a good
you
friend?
being a good friend? She's like, yeah, she fucking hates your guts. I was like, she's so nice to me. I'm so confused why she hates my guts. She goes, do you know this guy? And it was some guy that I, like, freshman year of college, like, 1 month into college, like, hooked up with.
Right.
I was like, yeah.
You're like,
and she was like, but I haven't talked to him in, like, probably over a year and a half at that point.
Right.
Like,
that was just a
not in my life whatsoever.
Thing. Yeah.
And she goes, well, yeah, like, you fucked her boyfriend. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you fucked her boyfriend.
And you're like, yeah, like, they were dating. And I'm like,
were? At that time?
That's what she told me? Or, like, they were, like, on and off or something. And I was like...
Either way, that's not your problem.
At fucking all.
When you blame the girl who did it, I honestly feel like that's where it crosses.
Because I've never heard of this chick in my whole entire life.
Yeah.
I was like...
nuts.
I was like... I had no idea, like, sorry. Okay. And she was like, yeah, I know, but, like, she just, like, hates you. And I'm like... Okay, thank you.
Thanks for letting me know.
Thank you.
Moving on with my day.
Right. I was like...
Where do you go from there? What are you supposed to do then? Apologize about it the next time you see her? No. You can't bring it up. It's her business to bring up, not yours. Like, if she has that big of a problem with it.
I was just like... But this every time that this girl saw me, she was really nice.
Right. So you were just, like, weirded out by that.
So weirded out.
She's being, like, fake to you.
Yeah.
And you were like, wow, she was really
Unless, like,
acting.
the girl was, like, lying about, like...
But why would she lie? Why would she lie? That's a big lie to tell.
But why would you be so nice to somebody that fucked your boyfriend while you were dating?
Maybe because she knows that she doesn't have a valid reason to hate you.
It's just, like, something about that situation doesn't add up. A plus B is not equaling C.
Yeah, I didn't get the right math either.
Did you double check your...
Yeah, it's right. It's wrong. You know what I mean?
It's right, it's wrong.
My math is right, but it's wrong. The answer's wrong. The capes are kind of uncomfy.
Yeah.
I keep, like, readjusting. I'm, like, kind of sweating in it, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. Okay, I have to bring this up. Remember when we peed in the trees at the golf course? Yeah. And then we walked around the corner and there was a porta potty?
Yeah.
Because I thought about that on my drive home from work the other night. I thought about multiple things. And I was, like, doing voice notes into my phone.
We played the game called Let's Go Golfing with people that want to golf, but we don't want to golf. We just want to
drive the
We
cart.
just want to come and sit on the golf cart and drink the drinks and cause chaos.
We love
And we would,
that
like,
game.
we would hop on the golf cart and just fucking drive away.
We would.
Far, far away.
And
we would be doing, like, donuts and shit.
We were weaving through the trees,
and,
man.
Like, that was, like, our very first time on a golf course, I think.
Yeah.
Like, actually, like, going to, like, play the holes, like, go sport. Around. Yeah. So we're driving around hammered, like, just giggling. Ooh, sorry. Mm-hmm. Oops. And then we're like, wow, like, we have to pee so bad, but, like, we didn't want to drive all the way back up to the, like, clubhouse or whatever. So we're like, shit, like, what are we going to do? Mm-hmm. We're just driving around, and we see this big pine tree. And we're like, we'll just go on the other side and, like...
piss and call, like, take care of our business.
Because we had been looking all around for, like, a porta potty, and there was none.
Find one.
None. So we're like, okay, fine. So we do it, and then we walk around to go back to the golf cart, and literally probably 15 feet from where we peed on the ground, there was a fucking porta potty. And we had looked everywhere for a porta potty. And, of course, the moment we decided to stop looking, we were 10 feet away from one.
That's just so humiliating. Oh, my God. But at the same time, porta potties are nasty. So I'm also kind of like, maybe we saved ourselves a problem.
But, yeah.
You know? But I just thought that was so funny because I thought about that. And then, yeah.
The other day, me and Mo got in a really big fight.
It's true.
Humongo fight.
Humongo. The biggest of bigs.
And then we smoked a blunt and ate some wings, and then we were over it. It was an olive branch.
Hannah kept referring to the blunt as an olive branch, and it was so funny.
Mo was like, what? And I said, an olive branch. And then I sent her the meaning of an olive branch, and she goes, I know what it means. I was
I did. I knew what an olive branch meant. I just was confused why you kept literally every single one of the texts that you would send. All it said in
because
the
I would
text,
say, can we smoke a blunt tonight?
and you would go, olive branch. Like in one text.
And then you would read my text and not respond, and I'd go, olive branch.
Yeah, every single time. Every time I wouldn't respond to you, you just go olive branch.
But then you said, bitch, what? And I said, olive branch.
But when you receive a text that just says olive branch, you know what I mean?
It was an olive branch. I said, listen, I know a fatty, because I'm a fatty. I'll bring some wings, and we'll smoke a blunt, and we'll get over it.
And I got zesty ranch veggie straws and ice cream.
Yeah.
The good kind.
Yeah.
So, we were fine. We were fine after that.
Yeah, we were really fine.
Anyways, any guesses about what our fight was about? Leave it in the comments.
There's literally only one person that would know.
It's true, but don't.
So leave it in the comment.
It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Dude, do you think you would really be Gryffindor?
I think I would.
In the sorting hat?
I feel like maybe. There's a possibility that I would.
I think you would be.
I think so. What do you think that you would be?
I don't know.
Ravenclaw?
Yeah. I think.
You went, yeah.
I just like don't think any of the other ones are really me.
Yeah.
That sounds pick me.
She's just pick me like that. There's little hairs on my mind.
What's your favorite Harry Potter movie?
Ooh. I love The Goblet of Fire, but I also like the two last ones are good. The Deathly Hallows.
The Deathly Hallows are amazing.
Because they just have so much more action in them.
Okay. I will say the first time I watched them all the way through.
Yeah.
And like really paid attention to them. Mm-hmm. The last two were absolutely my favorite because they were amazing, and like the twists and turns, especially in the very last movie, I was like, dude, no freaking way.
Like, this
but
shit's good.
One of my favorite scenes, I don't remember, it's in one of the earlier ones. Tell me if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, no.
It's like when Harry is on the train to like go to Hogwarts, but not like the Hogwarts Express.
Yeah.
He's on like that bus. With the like head that's like,
yes,
and then like
and then
the
it goes
bus
skinny
squeezes.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite scenes.
I love that scene. It's really cool. And then they take him to it's not the melting pot, but it's called the broom.
Or when Harry goes on
He's seeing
trial
the
for
melting
using
pot.
the
It's a
magic
real-
because he was getting attacked by Death Eaters.
Right, and then
what do
saving
you
his
mean?
literal like stepbrother.
I was so right in that situation.
Did you ever see that clip of what was his stepbrother's name?
Dudley,
yes.
Horrible name.
Terrible. Absolutely shit.
Dudley, dude.
But did you ever see that clip, that scene that they apparently cut out of the actual movies? And it was like at the end, Dudley and his parents were like getting in a car to like leave. They must have been moving or something. And the parents were like saying some mean shit to Harry. And then Dudley went over and like basically told Harry like, I love you, whatever, blah blah blah, and like thank you for being you and that kind of stuff. And it was like them like starting to get along type of thing, like
no, I didn't
kind of
see
making peace with each other, I guess. And like Harry felt really seen, but then they cut that scene.
Dude, I'll
have to show you.
The parents of Harry, like the aunt and uncle,
are
the worst.
Fucking annoying.
And he's so fat. Worst. He's a fatty fat.
He's a fat.
And then his fat sister comes, and then she gets so fat, and blows up like a balloon, and goes off into space.
She flies
like
away.
That was a good fucking move. Yeah. He was like, you're fat, so I'm gonna make you fatter.
Right.
I'm gonna dig at your insecurities.
No. Yeah, and it was
dig at mine. Because literally,
Dobby
like,
with the cake.
Every time that they would want to get to Harry, they'd just be like, your parents are dead. And
right.
you
it's like,
suck.
You don't have anything else.
You don't have any parents.
They were trying to like make him cry or something.
And Harry's like, I have literal magic powers.
What do you want me to do?
You know what I love about Harry Potter is like,
what?
Harry, like, essentially, his character is so pick me. But the way that, like, it is in the movies, like,
it's like a valid pick me.
It's the most valid pick me. Like, you know that, like, he's being pick me.
Right.
But it's like he has no other choice. He has all these things being thrown at him.
And he doesn't know.
And he just deals with it with the most grace and class.
Right.
And, you know, calmness that he can. And it's like he just wants to live a normal life, but people have to keep fucking with him.
It makes me totally understand, though, how so many of his classmates, especially when his name got pulled out of the Goblet of Fire, why they were all pissed at him.
Yeah. They were like, seriously, can we have one thing, Harry?
Like, is anything
one thing that's not
ever,
about you?
Yes. Is anything ever not about you? And like,
and he's like, dude, it's not my fault. Like, I did not do that.
Right. No, and it's so real.
Like, people, yeah.
But at the same time, I totally can see both sides. And then that movie when
Ron was so mad because Harry was being pick me, but it wasn't Harry's fault.
Ron had to come to terms with that, and that was the only reason. Ron was being a fuck.
He was being a fuck.
But at the same time, like,
that was the Goblet of Fire, right?
I get it.
He was like, I can't believe that you put your name in the Goblet of Fire. Like, he didn't believe Harry.
It was only until after the first challenge that he saw it, and then he was like, yeah, I can't imagine that you would have put your name in there on purpose. So he's like, I get it.
Because he was like 3 years younger than like the age that you had to be in the Goblet of Fire.
The interviewer lady in that movie, she kept saying like, a mere boy of 12. And he's like, I'm 14.
Yes.
Or he's like,
we'll start with the youngest for the interviews. He's just like, so Harry, like, why'd you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? And I can imagine that Harry felt extremely gaslit.
Oh, so gaslit in those, like interview. She pulled him into a fucking broom closet.
He's like, yeah, like, I totally wanted to go and be in this stupid competition and risk my life when I already have everything else going around in my life.
Right, he was like, actually, this is the
most powerful wizard in the world trying to kill me, and I do think the last thing he would do is put his name in the Goblet of Fire.
They did. Yeah.
Did they ever say who put it in, or it was just like
it was the one-eyed dude.
Yes.
But he was actually the guy's son.
Whose son?
I forget the names of everybody, but the guy who was the judge and ran the Goblet of Fire. He had the little beard or the mustache.
He was like a good guy?
Yeah, he was a good guy. He would always wear that flat-brimmed hat.
I know who you're talking about.
His son, remember? Who was actually a Death Eater, but he didn't know that.
Oh,
and then they flash back to that clip.
See, like,
and he was taking the Polyjuice potion to look like the one-eyed guy.
Yes,
that was
Mad-Eye Moody.
Yes, Mad-Eye Moody.
Mad-Eye Moody's a funny character. Do you remember the last Moody
The last movie.
The last movie when Mad-Eye Moody runs into the I think it was him when he runs into like the lunchroom where all the people are.
Yeah.
Like when everything was going down. And he's like, students on a bed.
No, that's not Mad-Eye Moody.
Who is it?
That was the guy with the cat.
Yeah, but he was like a teacher.
His name starts with like an F.
I gotta look it up.
Filch. Mr. Filch. That's his name.
Students on a bed. Students on a bed.
He's running, and he's like hiding.
And what's her name? Professor McGonagall was like,
"You're good at
they're
the names
supposed to be out of bed."
And he goes, "Oh, okay."
He runs away.
That scene is so good,
dude. I love that scene.
I love serious movies like this where they always like tie in like the most random comical parts.
And I get why people are so obsessed with Harry Potter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like I am.
Right.
But there's people that are obviously more obsessed than us.
Yeah.
But like the more like I watch those movies all the time and you notice things every single time you watch it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You watch it. You're like, oh, like that's what this means and like this is connected to this because it's all connected.
That's why I like watching.
And you really do have to pay attention because if you're watching and not paying attention, you would think it's so boring.
Right. It's true.
Because that's what I used to think like when I would watch it the first couple times, and then I had to sit there and really like watch.
Did you ever see though it was like a parody? And I totally understand this. It was the second movie, The Chamber of Secrets. You know when he like stabs the book with like the snake tooth?
Yes.
There was somebody like making a parody out of that, and they were like basically trying to say like, why did he stab a book? How did he know to stab a book? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like so random. And it was like the way that they did the parody was so funny.
Horcruxes?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, but at the time you didn't know that.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day it was. You didn't know.
At the end of the day.
They didn't even know what Horcruxes were at that point.
Who was Pick Me?
Who?
Hermione.
Yeah, so Pick Me. I love her, though. Her character's good.
Frickin' Pick Me.
I wish it would have made it so much better, and people say this all the time, but it's like, I really wish that there would have been a love story between her and Draco. That would have absolutely
I wish that Draco had more storylines.
Depth to him.
Like, he did, but, like, I wish that he had more connected to the other characters.
I know, where, like, he actually became, like, you know, I mean, not so Death Eatery, and more, like...
He was a fuck.
Like, good vibes, I guess, at the end.
He gave nothing but bad vibes.
Ever. Always.
So and that Harry was still saved his ass.
Harry did, but Harry cared about him.
And for what?
And for what? But I also think that Draco, I don't know. I think his character they like showed that he had more depth to him, but they just never gave him that like happy ending.
Got, like, screen time.
Yeah, right.
He didn't have any screen time.
Not really. All his character ever said was, Potter! And then act like a fuck, and that was it. That's, like, all his character really was. But, how they said that, like, Hermione, like, had, like, a crush on him during, like, the filming, like, her in real life.
Yeah.
I just think that would have been so funny, like, so good for her, had she gotten that moment.
Yeah,
to actually
she'd end up with Ron.
But this is not pretty. I don't get it. Ron
Dude, you know, like, how
ugly.
his hair changes drastically throughout the films?
Yeah.
The one where it's, like, long.
And shaggy.
Disgusting.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. I agree. But, you know how
But this is probably the best look.
This one?
Yeah.
I agree.
Shake it out.
What was that TikTok trend for a while? The guys would stand like this. I'm gonna do that after this.
Oh my god, your hair is so perfect.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Do it again. Let's clip that with the music.
Okay, I will. We're gonna clip it. Get ready. But you know how they're apparently doing like a Harry Potter series now?
Yeah.
I'm so excited for that, but at the same time, that could be either the best thing or the worst thing.
I know.
Like, because it could either be really disappointing or really amazing.
And I'm really, like, thinking it's gonna be the worst thing.
Me too. I have no faith in it. But I, like, want it to be good, of course. Duh. But, like, at the same time, I'm like, I have no faith.
Yeah.
Currently. So.
Besides, like, any Tim Burton movie, Harry Potter's our comfort movies.
Oh, 100%. I stand by that.
I can never get bored of them, truly.
Good vibes from all of them. Where is my freaking phone?
Do you want me to call it, Ron?
Oh, it's literally right here. I'm just dumb. I bet you could... Ron speaking.
Go for Ron. Can you hand me that? Lumos! Short arms.
Bitch!
So sorry.
No,
sorry.
the
sorry.
short...
Sorry.
You can't be saying things like that.
Sorry. Dude.
We're so annoying.
Yeah, I know. Let me just refill my chalice.
Chalice.
My chalice.
My chalice. My chalice. Anyway. Okay, like I said, I was... That was so pretty. Like I said, I was like voice texting into my phone. On my way home from work the one night.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me, for some reason, I was like thinking about this story. And I said this into my phone. I'm going to read the exact message. And I don't know if I'll keep this in, okay? But I said into my phone, this is what it picked up at least. I am. What the fuck? Now, just kidding, no. A parentheses was flirting with me at a Halloween party over friend. And I kept calling him Galaxy because I was mixing up the black guys. That might be controversial, but I may or may not talk about it. That is my exact text.
What does that mean?
This is when I was dressed, I did a duo costume with Kyra.
Okay.
And I was dressed as Harley Quinn and she was the Joker. And we were in a basement house party. And obviously, we both know Galaxy, right?
How could you not know him?
Right. Everybody knows Galaxy. Let's be real. And then my other friend, who was also, of course, he was black, right? But that's like, it sounds bad right now, but like at the end of the day, like the story makes more sense, okay? And his name was Cam. Cam texted me earlier in the night. So I had zero reason to mix up their names.
Okay.
He texted me and said, "Where are you?" I said, "We're at this party, pull up," whatever. So Cam gets there, and I'm with like a group of friends, and I literally walk him over. I'm like, "Oh my God, hi, how are you?" Whatever. And I walk him over to my friends, and I start introducing him. I introduce Cam as Galaxy. The worst part about it?
Said this is Galaxy?
Yes. Uh-huh. And
Galaxy's not his real name.
No, it's not.
It's what he
Oren.
calls himself, which is horrendous.
Yeah, but I was calling him Galaxy.
Galaxy.
I was literally calling. Actually, I think I introduced him as Oren.
I was gonna say.
If I'm being so real, but regardless, I felt terrible because then Kyra pulled me aside afterwards and goes, "Mo, that is not Oren." And I was like, she didn't know Cam either though, so she was like, "I don't know who this is, but that's not him." And then I was like, oh, yeah, that's my friend Cam.
Like my friend I've known for a while.
But the worst part about it is that Cam said nothing. He said nothing. He did not correct me. Okay? He's such a sweet guy. Like, literally, Cam has his life together, the most genuine man in the world. He said nothing. And the horrible, horrible part is that they are on the same football team at UWO. So they knew each other.
He was like, okay, so I know who you're trying to introduce me as.
And that
And,
ain't
like,
me.
why are you trying to introduce me as him?
Because I've never even been around the two of them together. You know what I mean? Where they're, like, both there.
And, like, Galaxy had nothing to do with the situation whatsoever.
No.
Dude.
But at that time, like, Galaxy, he would always text me, too. So I think in my head, I just, like, it was already drunk.
Galaxy's, like, that one dude that you know, and every weekend he's like, what are you doing?
Every weekend.
What's the move?
Where you at?
The move is away from
Pull
you.
up.
I'm going to move away from where you're at.
Yeah. He's not like a mean, bad guy, but he's just annoying. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. And I just had to, like, throw that out there because I thought that what my phone picked up was actually hilarious.
Okay. I need to bring up two things, one of which you are going to love, obviously.
Loving that.
We need to tell the story about what happened to us last week.
What?
One word.
One word?
One word.
What does it start with?
Pull up.
Huh?
Pool hub.
Oh my god.
Pool hub.
Fucking pool hub.
Pool hub.
I thought
Pool hub.
I thought you said pull up.
No,
when
pool
you
hub.
whispered. I heard, yeah, I get it now. Fucking pool hub. This is a perfect costume to talk about pool hub. I'm loving this. Let me put my wiggle that hoe on. Push up your glasses, babes.
Thank you, Bookie.
You're welcome, Books. We're out at the bar on Thursday last week. And Thursday night, it's busy, but it's not as busy as like a Friday or Saturday, right? And we were like, gonna be a good night to go out. We don't have to worry about the crowds. Like, this is gonna be great. So it's me, Hannah, and her boyfriend, Alex. We go to a bar that's like downtown Oshkosh. And they are like known for their pool tables because that's like majority of the bar is just a fuck ton of pool tables, right?
There's like literally 20.
It's
a
not
big
more.
old bar.
Huge bar.
And like
Anyway.
there is a crowd there that's like older. Not old, but like middle-aged.
Right. But
That
they're
go
gonna,
there to play pool.
Right.
But
those
there's
are
it's also on the same side of the coin, it's a college bar.
it is a college
So it's
bar.
like those two crowds are always mixing there.
Right. And you're right on campus. And it's like, that's the whole reason though too, is that any other night there than a Friday or Saturday, you're going to see more.
And it's
older
also
folks, which
not
is
a
fine.
bar that you get into underage. Like you wait until you're 21 to go there because you're not getting in underage.
You will not.
So it's
They
not
will
like you're
take your
dealing
ID.
with underage people at this bar either. It's like
They're very strict.
Yeah.
Needless to say. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we get into the bar, whatever, and we're like, okay, let's go play pool. So we all get a drink, and then we walk over to the pool tables. We get the balls, and to like get the balls at the counter, you have to like either give them your debit card or your like ID or something that you'll come back to like trade, and then
yeah.
So we're out playing pool, having a good time, whatever, no big deal. Then we go back to the bar after we're like, let's go over like across. So right next door to that bar, they're like the same
like-
owner.
Yes.
And it's a different bar technically.
But you can walk like between them without going outside.
Right.
And you can like bring your drink
because they are the
from
same
one to the
owner.
other.
Yeah. So
Which
we were
obviously
like,
you can't do with other bars, you know.
Right. So we were like, okay, let's like go over there and just like chill for a little bit or something, and then after that head out, go home.
Yeah.
And it was still pretty early, I would say. Like maybe
The whole thing was early.
not
It was
even 11.
Literally, yeah, probably 10.
Probably 10:30, if that. Anyway, we're like, okay, let's go return the pool ball. So we walk up to the counter, and this night specifically, there was karaoke going on, which was like right next to the bar, and not like anywhere near like all the pool tables and that kind of stuff. And like I said, like it wasn't a busy night, but like it was crowded enough by the bar that there was not a lot of like spaces and gaps around the outside of the bar. The only space that we saw was right near the register, which is of course where they keep like the IDs and stuff. And there was 2 chairs that no one was sitting in, but there were coats on the back of them, and then one of them had like a beer on the
So
counter.
obviously we weren't like gonna sit down. We didn't sit down.
No.
But we were like
Just
behind the chairs trying to talk to the bartender to like close out our tab and whatever.
Right. And Alex is pretty much just the one that was doing it, and her and I were kind of like leaning on the back of the chairs, the two. She was on the right side of me, and then Alex was to the right of her at the bar. Mm-hmm. We're just like talking, just minding our own fucking business, and some guy walks up and like he walked up like with an attitude. Like we didn't say anything to him, right? He like low-key like shoved Hannah and was like, "Excuse me."
And sat down because we were like leaning on his chair with his jacket.
Right. And we were like,
okay.
Like we would have apologized had he just said, "Oh, excuse me, like this is my chair." We'd have been like, "Oh, sorry, like we weren't doing anything."
Yeah.
But he like walked up with an attitude and then had to put his hands on her, which pissed me off.
Yeah.
And Alex is really deaf in like I think it's his left ear. So he literally claims he heard none of this following conversation.
The whole time he didn't hear it.
Alex
and I'm not going to sit here and call him a liar because I believe him.
Right. But it's nuts to me that he didn't know. And
but like, it's just so funny because he thought we were making friends with this middle-aged man.
Why
he was like, I thought you guys were getting along. And I'm like, huh? Because
he's like, I thought you guys were just like talking, like chilling. I was like, Alex, huh? This man was screaming in our face.
And then at this point, Alex like walked behind us. Yeah. So he was behind us, and we were at the bar with this man.
Yeah.
And Alex was back like waiting for us to like be done talking to this man because he thought we were making friends. I don't know.
So anyway, after he like says, "Excuse me," shoves Hannah, sits down. We kind of like looked at each other. We weren't trying to start anything, and we just.
Why would we start something with a middle-aged man?
We didn't care.
Like what?
We just like looked at each other and kind of giggled. You know, like that was the first thing that we did.
We just started laughing.
Right. And this man like heard us and turns around in his chair, like he's like facing this way.
This man's like probably 37.
Yeah, I would give that like very least 37. Yeah. He turns around and he stares at me like this.
He does.
For literally what felt like 10 minutes.
It was long.
No words were spoken.
And that was the moment that I knew this was going down.
Yeah, I was like, something's happening and we're not
like, why is this man so mad at the fact that we were in his presence? That's what it was.
It was, they were breathing the same air as him. It wasn't even like anything, like nothing happened.
This was the prime example of a man that hates
women.
Hates.
Yeah. So regardless, he looks at us like that and turns back forward, and Hannah and I like were speechless in this moment, and we looked at each other and kind of giggled again.
We were laughing
because we were like, what are we supposed to do? And I looked at him and I said, obviously his back is to me now, but I said, listen, like if you have a problem, like just say it.
Like what?
Just fucking say it. And he literally throws up like this. He was on his phone, by the way. He goes like this. And then
the raggedy finger
going on his phone, and I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were on Facebook." Because he was
not the Facebook bitch.
I was so pissed at him in this moment because I was like, "How are you trying to start something with like two 21-year-old girls? Like, I'm sorry, but that's embarrassing on your end.
So embarrassing."
Eventually, me and Hannah are just kind of like giggling because
he was acting ridiculous,
so stupid.
And when we were laughing, he was getting more and more mad,
which made us happy.
Yes. The serotonin was up, and his was
yeah, it was terrible.
Like,
terrible.
We're calling him Ron because we're pretty sure that's his name.
Yeah, that
outing him,
but we're also gonna nickname him Pool Hub, and we'll get to that reasoning.
Yes, Pool Hub
at
the pool bar.
Yes. So he turns around after throwing up the finger and turning like off his Facebook.
The pointer finger, not the middle finger.
No, right.
Yeah. He said, "Wait 1 second, you filthy fucking slut." That's literally what he said. He didn't say that, but like that's what like he meant.
That's what he did mean. Anyway, so then he turns around.
Whips around.
And he immediately, I swear to God, he took a sip of his fucking beer, swallowed,
slammed back.
And he went, "This is why I hate people your fucking age. You're so fucking immature. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of this bar." I mean, seriously, like, going off.
And we just
Volume 12.
Loud. And me and Mo just go, what? And I literally was like, I don't know why you walked up with a fucking attitude. Like,
you did say that.
We were totally fine until you came up and started treating us like shit.
Because we didn't do anything.
For no reason.
So you...
No reason.
No reason. And you actually did say, like, out loud to him, like, while he was, like, yelling and shit. Because it really was just so out of pocket, the way that he was yelling. And the things that he was saying, too. Because it had nothing to do with anything.
Turn around and said, like, I fucking hate girls your age. You guys are so fucking stupid. Like, we had altogether probably exchanged 5 words.
Yeah. If not less. To be honest with you. And Hannah literally goes, we had no problem. Like, you walked up with an attitude.
Yeah.
Which is true. And then that fired him up even more because then you and I started laughing after you said that. Mm-hmm. And he was still
so you're the one with that fucking attitude. And then he whips back around. And me and Mo were like, okay.
Right.
So I go lean up next to the bar to finally close out our tab because the bar was busy and the bartender finally came over. And he, like, accidentally bumped into me because he was trying to ignore us at this point.
Yeah.
But I was next to him trying to close out my tab. And he bumps into me and he goes, oh, sorry. And then he looks up and sees it's me and he goes, oh, it's you. And then he goes, by the way, I'm in the pool league here. Okay, so you're a fucking loser. Okay, so I'm in the pool league here. And I know everybody that works here, including the bartenders. And I looked at him and I went, I don't give a fuck who you know. The fuck? Why would I care?
No.
Did this man genuinely think when he told me he was in the pool league at the pool bar, I was going to be like, oh my God. I didn't know. I am so sorry.
God.
Pool Hub. We're calling him Pool Hub because then I looked at his shirt and it said Pool Hub as in like a play on Pornhub.
Like the same logo, but
Pool Hub.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so sorry, but I'm not giving you respect.
And first off, the hat he had on was so terrible. We're going to insert a photo
Okay, no,
of him.
we were giving him respect until he did give us nothing of the sort.
Well, right. No, absolutely. But then right after he turned to Hannah and said all that shit, at this point I'm minding my business. I think I was on my phone. He turns around, and that must have fired his ass up again because he turns around. He was not done. So then he looks at just me and starts saying, he goes, by the way, you're not even fucking pretty. Like, you're just a painted piece of shit. Like, blah, 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 like going off on my ass. And you're going to go nowhere in life.
He said we were going to go nowhere in life.
And then I, like, after the fact.
Which, like, a little personal and, like, true, but.
Right. But I was like, the fact that you had to, like, bring up the fact that we're not even pretty, we said nothing to do with our looks at all. So clearly you were the one thinking that.
Why would we say that?
We didn't walk up to you and we weren't acting like we thought that we were some hot shit. Like,
no, at all.
At all. We don't act like that in general, to be honest with you, unless we're feeling it. But, you know, like.
In this moment, not
right.
at all.
And I was like, so then thank you for that compliment because very clearly you were thinking that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyways, then he says, you're going to go nowhere in life, blah, 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 all this. And when we say, like, he was yelling, he was straight up yelling.
In our face.
And would not stop.
And we would just look at him and just keep laughing.
And so after he finally stopped yelling at me, I said, yeah, and what do you do? Because seriously, looking at him, I'm sorry.
He looks like he lives in his mom's basement.
He looks like a fucking bum. Like, doesn't do shit with his life. Video games all day, and then goes to Pool Hub at night. You know what I mean? Anyway, he goes, oh my God, I live on a lake. I drive a sports car. Blah, blah, blah. And he starts, like, going off, and I'm, like, sitting here thinking, like, that's a fucking lie. That is such a lie. So I start laughing. And then eventually, like, Alex, like, I think he, like, realized.
He did realize, because he was trying to pull me away.
Yeah.
And I was like, no.
No,
we were like, let me finish, and then we can leave.
Right. So then at that point, I think was, like, after all that settled, then Alex was like, let's just walk away. And you and I were both kind of like, yeah, like, I'm over this. And then he thought that he won, though, which I hated that. I hated knowing that. So then we walked over to, like, the other bar, like, the one that's connected. And we were just, like, sitting in there for, like, a little bit talking and whatever.
And we had to tell Alex everything that happened because he had no clue.
And then Alex was mad at himself because he's, like, a very protective kind of guy. And he also does not like, obviously, when somebody, like, disrespects the two of us, or much less you in general. And so then he was, like, really mad at himself. You could, like, see it. And he was like, fuck, like, why didn't I say anything? Like, I didn't hear this. Like,
because, like, not his fault. But the fact that we had a man with us who did not step in.
It looks bad.
We looked like idiots.
Like,
but it wasn't his fault because he wasn't, like, paying attention to what was going on.
We had each, at this point, by the way, had, like, maybe 2 drinks.
Yeah, it's not like we were hammered.
So, no. By no means were we even, like, buzzing. Like, it was...
So we go to the other bar, sit down, and we're just, like, fuming. Because we're like, this man did not just, like, do this
disrespect us like that.
So we sit there for a while, and then we're like, you know what, we're going back.
Yeah.
We're gonna go back.
Which I don't think Alex was on board with that. He was like, no, guys, like, let's just leave. Let's go home. Like, leave it alone. And we were like,
let's go back.
If you know us, we don't give up a fight.
But we weren't going to go back and, like, confront him. We were just going to go back.
Be unproblematic and let him,
you know,
do something.
Start the fight. So we go back. Thank goodness we went back when we did, let me tell you.
So grateful.
The moment we walk back into the first bar, the karaoke and pool bar, Pool Hub is on his way up to the fucking stage.
Ready to sing a fucking solo.
And we were like, here we go.
So
we're leaning against the bar. We're ready to watch. Like, this is amazing. I don't know the name of the song that he sang. No, it was a terrible song, and it had no words. There was, like, you know, obviously you can see the lyrics.
And the words were literally do-do-do-do.
Do-do-do-do-do-do. And I remember one time he went, heaven from hell. Heaven from hell. I recorded the whole thing. I grabbed my phone. And I leaned up against the bar obnoxiously and went like this.
And she was like, yeah, run!
Woo! Woo!
Drawing so much attention.
And then finally when he was done, nobody clapped, but I went like this.
It was the loudest claps you would ever see. And she, like, was throwing herself over the bar so that she was, like, in the center of attention. Obviously, his singing was shit.
Horrible.
Nobody clapped except Hannah. Not even his supposed friends who were sitting right next to him by the bar. And the lady who was running the karaoke stand calls out Hannah. Yeah, that lady at the bar, that's what I like to see. Make everybody feel welcome and cool. She's like, yeah. And then Hannah was still clapping. I said, Hannah, they just gave you a shout out. Like, you have to sit down. Like, Pool Hub is going to see you. Like, you have to stop.
I hope he did.
He definitely did. There's no way in hell that he did not.
So then he goes back and sits at the bar. Whatever. At this point, we're just, like, kind of over the situation. Yeah. Doing our own thing. Then I'm sitting by the gambling machines talking to Alex kind of about that whole situation, but we weren't like we weren't even close to him whatsoever.
Right.
Pool Hub gets up and starts walking like past us. It was just me and Alex. Mo was at the bar. You weren't really close to us.
I was watching this really good lady
karaoke singer
who was singing. It was amazing.
And he was walking past us, stops dead in his tracks, looks at me like this.
I want that cut. I want that clip in the camera.
Hand on hip.
The way that you looked
hand
right
on
now.
hip. And I was talking to Alex about this, and I went,
foul.
And Alex went, all right, that's it. And he walks over to the guy, and then, you know, the bouncer was there, and then the Pool Hub guy actually ended up getting kicked out. However,
this is so funny.
Alex was telling the bouncer, like, he was disrespecting these girls that I was with. And the bouncer looks at Pool Hub and goes, and called them bitches. And looks at Pool Hub and he goes, yeah, man, that's not how we treat people in this bar. And then Pool Hub looks the bouncer dead in the eyes and goes, well, they deserved it. What did we fucking do to deserve it? We were leaning on his chair.
So funny.
Dude, we deserved it.
We so deserved it. What do you mean?
Truly in his mind, we deserved it. But
we did.
And I guess if you really believe that, sure, right. Whatever. But then he got kicked out. Yeah. So it was just an amazing story.
I just think it's so funny because then we like posted about that afterwards and everybody was like signing up saying what happened. And I said, tune into episode 5.
Literally.
Like, because for me, I was like using it as like a reasoning to advertise.
It was so funny.
And it was a very eventful
How are we supposed to take him seriously whatsoever? When he
looks like that and
had a shirt on that said Pool Hub. And when he whipped his head and told me that he was in the pool league, he said that like I was supposed to be horrified.
Down. Absolutely terrified. And also, like, I'm sorry, but you clearly didn't even know that bouncer.
No, right?
He kicked you out too.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you, Yeah. You're a fucking liar. He was just trying to be like intimidating and stuff. And I'm like, dude, you don't own this bar. Let's be honest. No one in here does. Mm-mm. So it's like, you're going to sit here and act like that? Like, you can't. That's bold.
Like, he had more right to be in that bar than we did.
I just don't think that he knew who he was picking a fight with. At all. And then when you looked at...
two fine gentlemen.
No, literally. 1, 2.
I have another thing.
Okay, what is it?
I need to tell you too about the business that fired my sister. Name dropping.
Yeah.
Name dropping.
Name drop.
So, if you are from the same hometown as me, Mukwonago, Wisconsin, you will know this place. And I'm fucking name dropping because I love my baby sister. She's the love of my life. My little sister is the coolest person I know. Literally alive. She's a queen.
Yeah.
She is in all-star cheer, which is like 3-4 nights a week. And she's on 2 teams. So her practices, instead of being like 2 hours, she has the 2-hour practice for one team and then immediately has the 2-hour practice for another team. So she goes for 4 hours, like 3 or 4 times a week.
She loves cheer.
loves cheer. She's in school, obviously. She's 15, almost 16. She has 3 jobs. Had 3 jobs. Like,
Right.
she works a lot. Like, every single
She
night
kicks
off
ass, really.
or day off that she has, she's working 2 or 3 jobs. Just because, I don't know, she really likes money. I'm like, Slay, that's awesome. You know, she has a really
She
good work
likes
ethic.
money. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Don't we all?
So, she worked at this one place called Crossroads Pizza. It is in Big Bend, Wisconsin.
And this is not an ad.
It's not an ad.
It's the opposite.
They're going to look at this and be like, who is this Harry Potter bitch?
Oh my God, I have a
it's
story
true.
for you after this is
Okay.
done.
So, my sister worked at this Crossroads Pizza for probably like a year. And her hours would change, obviously, because she's in sports and whatever. But she never, like, stopped working there. She was like, I can work less, but, like, I still want to work here. Like, here's my availability, like, whatever.
Right.
So they scheduled her. It was like a Saturday morning, and she had cheer practice late the night before, and then my mom dropped her off at my dad's house. And then, like, she woke up in the morning, like, really sick.
Oh, shit.
Like, throwing up, like, fever, like, the whole night.
The whole night.
So she texts, you know, her boss, and she's like, listen, like, I'm not going to be able to make it in. Her shift was, like, 10 to 2. Like,
So,
some,
like 4 hours.
like, some lunch
You're
shift.
fine.
And she was like, yeah, like, I'm so sorry. Like, and my sister's never, like, called in sick before. Like,
Right.
and she's really sensitive. So, like,
That,
she was
yeah.
probably terrified to call in and was probably so scared she was going to get in trouble. But, like,
Right.
there was no way she was going in. She's a 15-year-old girl who literally was, like, having a fever and was throwing up. Like, of
Like,
course
what are you
she's not
gonna
going
do?
into work
She can't come
for
in.
her 4-hour shift.
And if she does come in, that's illegal.
Yes. So her boss texts her back and she's like, I can't believe you would give me this late of a notice. Like, you're so irresponsible.
How is she supposed to know?
This grown woman is literally texting my 15-year-old sister, like,
Talking down
you're
to her
so
like that."
irresponsible. You're not even a good worker. You could have told me earlier, and I have nobody to work for you. Like, we're going to be screwed. Babe, it is a pizzeria that isn't even that busy from 10 a.m. to 2.
terrible.
You're the fucking manager. You can't go out there and box up the pizzas.
Like, do it
You
yourself.
really need this 15-year-old girl's help for 4 hours when she's literally sick.
Right.
And poor Rio is like, oh,
Bawling,
I'm so
probably
sorry. Like, I guess I can come in if you really want me to. Like,
Terrible.
she
Like,
texts
shouldn't
her
come
and
in.
she's like, don't bother coming in. You're off the schedule. You were never a good worker anyways. You were always on your phone, XYZ. Texting my little sister, like, and my mom has the texts. I need to get them. I want to insert them.
Let's insert that.
And my mom, like, was so pissed about, like,
yeah.
the text that she was sending.
I
And
would
my
have
poor
literally
sister's
gone into
bawling.
that
She's sick.
place. Yeah.
And I guess they took her off the schedule and she got fired. But then also, if she's on her phone, tell her to get off her fucking phone. Apparently, there's a box where they put the phones when they walk
Right.
in. Why isn't her phone in the box?
Right.
Clearly, you're not a good enough fucking manager.
Right.
If you're... And just, like, the fact that she was texting her all these things, being like, you're so ridiculous for not giving me an earlier notice.
That's so fun.
If you want to have your kids be treated like shit by their boss, have them work at Crossroads Pizza in McGonigal, Wisconsin.
You know what that story literally reminds me of? Is when I quit, and this is another non-advertisement. It's the complete fucking opposite. When I worked at Kelly's Creamery. And when I quit. I told you that story, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so summary quick. I'm not going to like make this long, but I worked at Kelly's Creamery, which is literally like 5 minutes from my house. And at the time, I had like a couple friends that I knew that worked there. At that little time, my now high school ex-boyfriend, his sister, like worked there. So I like knew her too, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, this is going to be so nice. Like, I'll save so much money, like driving to work because I don't have to like, I literally could bike there. You know what I mean? I start working there, and when they like hired me, and like after my interview, well, at my interview, I gave them a literal paper written list of all the days for like the next 3 months, and I think it was like the summer months, so like June, July, August, that I knew I was like gonna need off,
Yeah.
which I thought was very generous because then in their eyes, because I was going on like a family trip, and then I had like something else for like a week after that, a couple months later that I needed off for,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, well then at least if like they, you know, don't want to hire me because of how many days I need off, that doesn't work for them, then they don't have to hire me. Like, that's fine. But at least they know.
Yeah.
I gave it to them. They hired me. I was like, okay, we're good. You know, they gave me off all those days. And I was like, okay, perfect. Like, I didn't think twice about it after that. I then, after a month and a half, maybe, I don't know, of me working there, maybe even 2 months, I have no idea. I was like hating it because my bosses, the managers, the whole Kelly family, absolute fucking bitches. They're just like so mean and rude and just like cold people. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean by that? Just like they acted very cold to you. Certain people they were very nice to, and I'm not saying that they're like bad people in general, but the fact that they had to make me feel like that, or that I was even getting that like kind of a vibe, for me was just like, this is not a good fit. Mm-hmm. I go in one day on my day off, and I walk into my boss's office. Her name is Karen Kelly.
Horrible name.
Right. And I had like a full, like, this isn't even like a professional job. And I had like a 2 weeks letter written up. You know what I mean? And I walked in and I said, hey, Karen, like, do you have a minute? You know? And she's like, yeah, what's up? And I like set the letter down on the table and I said, I'm just like going to put in my 2 weeks notice. I said, no disrespect to you guys. I just don't think that this is like a really good fit for me. But I really appreciate you guys like taking me in and teaching me all this stuff and like whatever. She looks at the letter, looks at me, rolls her eyes right in front of me and goes, yeah, you know what? I'm going to actually have to agree with you on that because I don't really think that this is a good fit for you. If you wanted to work here, you would actually fucking work. And starts going off on me. And I literally looked at her dead in the eyes and I was just like, I'm sorry you feel that way, but like, and I told her, I said, you know, when I first started, I gave you guys all my hours I needed off. I've never asked for another day off after that unless it was something that I missed, you know, whatever. And it's been like, after the ones that I had given them, it was maybe 1 or 2 days in the matter of like 2 months or however, you know.
Which isn't like normal.
Right. And I said, you guys hired me knowing all those days. So if you had a problem with it, you shouldn't have hired me, you know? And anyway, the only thing that I regret about when I quit there was that I didn't like not finish off my 2 weeks after her going off of me like that. I should have just been like, all right, well then have fun filling in my schedules for the next 2 weeks if that's how you feel.
Yeah.
That's what I wish I would have done.
Yeah.
Because the way that she talked to me was absolutely disrespectful and unprofessional.
I don't get why people that know their crowd that they're hiring are so like not good with talking to kids or like interacting with them. Like the people at Crossroads, the owners are young. They're like probably 30.
Oh, wow.
And
very young.
You should understand when you're in high school, you have so many things going on.
Oh, yeah. Sports,
and like,
all of it.
Rio had never called in sick before. She worked there for like a year. She missed a 4-hour shift.
That's nuts.
And they were like, you know what? Forget it. And then they took her off the schedule.
Yeah. That is crazy.
So I'm going to get the texts, but Crossroads Pizza treats their employees like shit.
And so does Kelly's Country Creamery. Don't support them. Plus, they put blue cheese in their ice cream, so.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
They have an ice cream flavor that's blue cheese and pear. I tried it one time. They have like really funky ice cream flavors. That's one of the things that they're known for is like trying like weird shit. And I tried the blue cheese and pear one once because I actually like blue cheese.
Yeah, me too.
But like if the blue cheese was like blended and creamy into like the flavor more of the ice cream, that's fine. But they left the blue cheese chunks in the ice cream. Texture. And it was disgusting.
It's a texture nightmare.
It was a texture nightmare. The flavors would have been fine. It was just the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The textures of it. But that's, yeah. Where did I put my wand?
Oh, shoot.
Oh, shit.
Found it.
Fuck, I just got comfy. Okay, I'm back. Okay. While we're on, let me get comfy first. It's foul. Fix my robe too so I'm not inappropriate, feeling a little slut.
Yeah, we don't want that. Modesty.
Right. While we are on the topic of crazy work stories, I have to like talk about what happened to me the other day at work.
Okay.
This was so out of the blue and just hilarious. Okay. This was on Tuesday night. It was like 5 p.m. And it was very slow, whatever. I have to catch my breath. I don't know why. I was just like moving around so much. Anyway, I did not work Monday. And supposedly Monday night, some guy came in to pick up a takeout order. And I guess there was like some mix up with like the takeouts. And I don't think that whatever this takeout order was ever got like written down and like actually given to the cooks. I don't know how that happened, but I wasn't there. So clearly I was not at fault. Whatever. this guy who came in to pick up this takeout order, the cook, his name's Alex, he was working Monday night and he was also there Tuesday. Me and him are very close, like good friends, whatever. And I answer the phone. Of course, of all the phone calls that I answer at this restaurant, this is the one that I got. Mm-hmm. This guy, the moment I answer the phone, I said, "Jugs Hitching Post, how can I help you?" Immediately cussing me out on this phone. He is like dropping the F-bomb left and right, and I was like, my eyes just started to widen. And I'm like, what is going on? Okay. And I start to like slow him down and I said, listen. Like, I was not here last night. Like, what are you talking about? Like, just inform me, like, calmly. Yeah. And like, tell me, like, what the deal is. Supposedly, the night before, it was this guy who had that mix-up takeout, which I didn't end up finding out because he never told me that on the phone. I didn't end up finding that out until after I got off the phone call and I talked to Alex because he was like, what the fuck was that? You know what I mean? And this guy on the phone, he's like, I came in last night and I picked up my takeout order and I brought it back home and like there was a fucking hair in my food and that's just absolutely disgusting, blah, blah. Like going off, literally cussing us out and saying like, basically starts like before even letting me like respond. He's just going off saying that he thinks that we put a hair in his food on purpose. I have never had anybody accuse. You're just like, right. Like, why would we do that? You know what I mean? Like, why would anybody do that?
So
no
weird.
one would do that.
Nobody.
I mean, shit happens, like an accident, whatever, and that's so different. But nobody ever at a restaurant would ever put food or a hair into somebody's food on purpose. Because if you do, you're going to get fired. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like that, and that's whatever. But it's like, and also, I don't think that they'd be a fucking cook if they do stuff like that. I'm sure maybe at some point throughout time, any other restaurant might have done that, you know. But that's not something that, like, this restaurant does. Especially because I'm very good friends with the cooks there. Mm-hmm. They would never. Mm-hmm. Plus, Alex, bald.
Fair.
Alex is bald.
That's the kicker.
Right? And that's the kicker. But it was like, I had to slow this guy down because
you should have been like, well, he's actually bald, so was it your hair?
Well, no, I ended up, but I wasn't going to say that because I knew the other cook that was working with Alex that night. His name's Jonathan. Jonathan's like he's a very quiet kind of guy, like kind of dweeby at times, you know what I mean? And he has longer hair, not like long, but you know what I mean? Like enough to the point where then I asked him to like describe the hair and he said, well, it was like short and black, like looked like something that you would find like in like clippers, you know, if you're like shaving your face. So then I was kind of like, okay, you know, I get that. That might have happened, you know, but they didn't put it in there on purpose. So I'm having to reiterate to this guy a million times over and over that nobody put that in there on purpose and that he needs to stop swearing at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, right.
And then he kept going, well, I get that it's not your fault. Like, I know that you said that you weren't there last night or whatever, but like, I seriously need to talk to someone about this. Like, I'm going to leave a really bad review. And he's like going off. And eventually I just had to calm him down. And I was like, dude, like,
do you want us to remake it?
Well, right. He goes, I'm not trying to get anything free out of this. And I said, what time did you come in last night? He goes, 8:30. I said, why did you not call back last night? He goes, well, you guys were closed. And I said, we stopped serving food at 9, but we don't close at 9. I said, you could have called. And then he's like, I thought you guys were closed, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I get it, you know. But at the same time, you called back at 5 p.m. tonight instead of this morning. I get that maybe you were busy or you had something going on, work, whatever. But, like, I just feel like you're trying to get another free dinner out of this. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm just like, if that's what you want, just say it.
Right.
Because you can get a free meal if you had a hair in your food. Right. Like, no question.
No problems
If you had called back and been like, hey, I found a hair. Is there any way I could get, like, a new meal? You would have been like, yeah, of course. Like, what do you want?
But the thing is that then after I said to him on this phone call, I said, if you don't want anything, like, free or another meal out of this, I don't know what it is that you want me to do for you to, like, make this a better situation. Because that's really
the only thing we could do.
Right.
Say, we're so sorry, here's this, with no hairs.
Exactly. And, like, that's just really how it is. Like, it's not like you're going to, like, either that or, like, give you a refund or, like, your money back, like, that kind of thing. But it's like, if you want nothing out of this, I don't understand why, like, you're swearing at me. You could have just called and told us what the situation was and been like, I don't want nothing for free. I'm just, like, trying to let you guys know that, like, maybe, like, people should be wearing hairnets or something like that or be more careful. Mm-hmm. Fine by me. That call, that's okay. Mm-hmm. But the way that this guy was, like, going off, I eventually looked, like, I looked at Alex, the cook, and Rachel, the girl who I was working with, And they were both like looking at me like this because of the way that I'm trying to like handle the phone call. And at certain points, I started to get pissed at him because he kept saying over and over again, they did it on purpose. They did it. I was like, they did not fucking do it on purpose. Mm-mm. And then I said, if you want to go go and leave a bad review, I can't stop you from doing that. Like, that's up to you. But at the same time, like, if you're going to sit here and say that you want nothing free out of this or you want nothing like in return, I don't know what it is that you want us to do because people always make mistakes. That's like part of life. And then at one point I literally said on the phone call because I was pissed. I said, if you've never made a mistake in your life, that sounds like good for you, whatever, but like other people do. And that's clearly what happened in this situation. But no one put it in there on purpose. I was getting like really mad at him because I was like, I was not here. So truly, I never said my name when I answered the phone call. Mm-hmm. So I was like, he can sit here and yell at me all I want. And I'll take the blame for it if he comes in another day and says, this bitch I talked to on the phone, blah, blah, blah.
You'd be like,
I'll be like, me. Absolutely me. I'll take blame for that. Yeah. I don't care. But, oh, my God, it was just such a shit show of a call. I eventually ended up sending his phone call up to, like, the bookkeeper's office, which is, like, our managers.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, like, nobody's there right now, so it's going to take you to voicemail. I said, just leave a message, your name and your number, and they'll call you back if they have any questions for you. And so that's what I did. I just sent him up there, and I was done with it. But the way that he answered that phone was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I feel like I handled it like a really good way.
Yeah, it sounds like you did.
Thank you. What were you going to say?
That reminded me of one more story. One more work story. Thank you. You know the story, but...
Oh, okay.
When I used to work with my sister...
Yeah, at Kelly's.
Yep. We worked together at a different place called Kelly's.
Yeah, not the Creamery.
And she was a hostess, and I was a server. She was, like, the hostess while I was working. Mm-hmm. And at that restaurant, like, the hostesses would work, like, 4 to, like, probably, like, 8 at the latest, and then they could leave because it's, like, it's not busy. Yeah. So it was, like, later at night, and it was probably, like, close to 8.
Right.
She sits down this family. She seats them with their silverware and their menus, and she comes up to, like, where all the servers were because we were, like, just rolling silverware and sitting down. This place was really casual to work at, like, very, like, lenient, you know, whatever.
Right.
So we're all sitting down, chit-chatting. The man from the table that she just sat gets up, full-grown man, like a father, okay? It's a family. It's a man, a wife, and their 2 adult kids. Mm-hmm. He comes up to my little sister, who at the time is like 13 or 14.
Right.
She's tiny.
Itty-bitty girl.
And starts screaming in her face.
Is
that how you treat all of your customers? I just have never in my life been treated like that by somebody at a restaurant. Mm-hmm. And me and all the servers were like, what are you talking about? Like, what's going on? Yeah. And Rio was looking at him like, what? And one of the servers was like, what did she do?
Right.
And he goes, she slammed our menus down, slammed our silverware down. She was so rude. I just have never been treated like this in my whole life.
What do you mean?
And Rio was like,
I sat at your table.
I didn't do that. And one of the other servers I was working with, because I'm sitting here like, you better stop screaming at my baby sister right now before I get physical with you.
Get physical is so valid, though.
And one of the other servers I was working with, he would not stop going off on this little girl. And I know for a fact Rio did not sit them
like that,
slamming their shit. I know it didn't happen. Like, because truly, like, it was not that far away from me. I saw her seating them. Mm-hmm. It wasn't anything aggressive whatsoever. Mm-mm. So the other waitress that I'm working with goes, well, she's literally 14 years old. Like, it's her first job. Like, you don't really need to be screaming at her like that. Like, maybe we could just calm down and, like, we'll get a server over to you.
Maybe
like,
we can just calm down. Valid.
Maybe we could just calm down. And he goes, no, I need to talk to a manager about this. So we're like, okay, he's over there.
If I were Rio at that age, I
probably
would have cried.
But before he said, okay, I need to talk to a manager about this, he continues to scream at her. And I looked at him and I went, you need to stop fucking screaming at her. Like, she's 14. If you want to talk to the manager, you can go talk to me. He's over there. But, like, you don't need to keep screaming at her.
Right.
So he storms over there, like, talks to the manager or whatever, and then goes back and sits down. And I was like, I'm not taking this table. I'm not, like, serving them.
Because if you did, you would have screamed at them right back.
I'm not serving them. Like, somebody else can take them. And also, when he went over and talked to the manager, he called me out by, not name, but he went, that tall girl has a really bad attitude, too. And I'm like, duh.
Right.
Because you're screaming at my baby sister. Yeah. So my other table served them. And, like, our manager, like, knew that this was bullshit. He was
Yeah.
like, okay, like, I know that was crazy, but, like, just offer them, like, a free drink or something, whatever.
Right.
So my friend Maddie that took the table, she offered them the free drink, and they were like, no, we don't want to, like, take anything for free.
Right.
But we just, like, want, like, better service. I'm like,
Come on.
I'm so sorry. But I know for a fact,
You don't yell like that
whatever
if you don't want
she
something for
did,
free.
whatever she did not constitute yelling in a 14-year-old's face.
Never.
Yeah, in her face.
It never
I was
constitutes
like,
that.
the rage that bubbled up inside of me in that moment, I will do anything for her. And any person that is talking to her like that, I'm like, you better watch your mouth.
They're dead to me, yeah.
And the funny part about it is I knew who the family was.
Really?
Their daughter, which was with them, I played basketball against her, like, all my life.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And they never, ever once
She probably
beat
was
us,
somebody who got a
by the way.
technical when you played.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of vibe.
She was, like, good, but, like, their team sucked. I mean, they
Right.
never won a game,
yeah.
ever. Anyways. The other thing I need to bring up to you is something so crazy. It has nothing to do with any of this stuff. Have you ever heard the whole story? Okay, because I watched this documentary the other day. Wild. Do you know everything that actually happened with the Boston bombing? The Boston Marathon bombing?
For some reason, I thought you were going to bring up the Gabby DiMartino case.
No.
Anyway. No, I don't.
That is the most wild thing.
The Boston Marathon one? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
I'm just going to run you quickly through, like, the story.
I know, like, a decent amount, but I feel like you're going to bring up things that I have no idea of. So please continue, because I'd like to hear.
I've never, ever, ever knew any of this stuff. I knew about the bombing, okay?
Well, right.
So they are, like, trying to figure out who did it, but obviously there's, like, they have to comb through all these photos and videos of, like, everything that happened at the marathon to, like, try and find something suspicious.
That's so serious detective shit, because, like, hours and hours of video footage.
Hours. So they see this guy, like, walk in with a backpack and, like, drop it down and then, like, walk away. And, like, that's when, like, so they, like, realized, like, they got video footage of the two people who did the bombing, but they didn't know who they were, why they did it, whatever.
Right.
So they are, like, trying to figure out who it is. Okay. This whole thing happened. Ooh. And, like, the span of, like, 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
They realize they have, like, video footage of them. They figure out who the people are.
Okay.
But they still obviously, like, don't know where they are, like, what's going on. 2 days later, they shoot and kill a police officer.
The two men that did it?
They were brothers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They were, like, Muslims.
Okay.
And they, like, were, like, really, like, extremists type situation.
Yeah.
So they shoot and kill this police officer. Then
For
they're driving.
any specific reason, or?
Not really.
Okay.
Then they're driving away.
Way to bring the attention to yourselves.
In a car.
Mass.
And then there was this Asian guy who had nothing to do with it.
Okay.
Driving, like, whatever, and he pulls off on the side of the road to, like, look for directions or something. They pull up behind him. The one brother gets out of the car, walks up to the guy in front of them, the Asian guy in the car.
Yeah. Was he still in his car?
Rolls down the window. Yeah.
The Asian guy?
Rolls
Okay.
down the window, because the Asian guy thought, like, I don't know what his name was, but he thought that they just, like, wanted directions or something.
Right.
And then they, like, pulled a gun on him and was, like, open the door. So that he gets in the car with them. One of the brothers is in the car with him, like, gun to him, like, drive.
Gun to his head.
Then the other brother is following them in the other car. Okay, this guy is, like, horrified. Okay. Then they stop somewhere and ditch the car that they were originally driving, and both the brothers get in this other car, this Asian guy's car, because at this point the police knew what car they were looking for, and it wasn't this Asian guy's car, right?
Right.
So this poor Asian guy's driving.
Oh, poor guy.
He's like, are you gonna kill me? And they were like, we did the Boston bombing, like, we just need you to drive, like, we're not gonna kill you.
Not the confession.
So they go to the gas station because they were gonna, like, drive, like, to New York to do another bombing in this guy's car.
Shit. Okay.
And he was like, well, I don't have that much gas, so, like, we might want to stop at a gas station before we, like, get on the highway. They're like, okay, sure. So while they're at the gas station, the one brother, like, gets out to pump the gas and he goes inside. And the Asian guy makes a freaking run for it. He gets out of the car, and there's, like, footage of him, like, security camera footage, of him, like, running away.
As fast as he can.
As fast as he can. Sprints across the street and, like, down the street to this other gas station. They go, or he goes into the gas station, like, please call the cops. Like, was just kidnapped, and they're the people that did the Boston bombing. So the cops are like, what is going on? Like, what do you mean?
Like, get here, though. Stop questioning it.
So then, obviously, the other brother comes off from the gas station, and they drive off. Mm-hmm. They're driving away.
They left the Asian guy. Okay.
They were like, screw it, you know? Like, he's already in this other store. Like, it's just too many things going on.
Because I think me as the Asian guy, I think I would have been very paranoid to, like, not that you wouldn't want the people at this other gas station to call the cops or anybody in general.
I don't mean to keep calling him Asian guy. I wish I remembered his name.
I know, but
because it's just like,
bad,
imagine like being him, like so in just normal situation, and you end up in this situation with the people who just did the Boston bombing.
Tied into it, yeah. What a life. But no, I was gonna say, like, I think that if I was like his position, I would have almost felt really terrified that they were gonna follow me with the gun. Mm-hmm. Well, right, and then obviously the person at the clerk at the gas station would be dragged into it and have like risking their life. Then,
well, right,
it's so terrifying because
but
you're like, God,
he was like they told him that they weren't going to kill him, but he was like, I don't really believe you.
You can't in that position. You just told me you did the Boston Marathon bombing.
Right. So,
liars.
This guy had like a GPS tracking in his car.
Oh,
and
that's
he,
powerful.
Off the top of his head, knew the GPS tracking number because it was his first car. He was obsessed with it, and he just happened to know it by memory.
That is amazing.
So the police get there, and he's like, you can track it because I know the numbers. So they're tracking it, and it's like driving into this like suburb of Boston, right? Like just trying to like get away. So they call
That's so powerful.
The police. I think the town was called Watertown.
The
town that they were driving into. They call the Watertown police, and for some reason they didn't mention that it was the Boston bombers. They were like, there's a stolen car in Watertown, like here's where it is. It's driving this way.
Why would
like,
they not?
Don't know. So they're driving, and they get the like, I don't remember like all the details exactly, but it ended up where like the car pulled off, like was parked, and like police were obviously like all around, like they're like it's a stolen car, whatever.
Yeah.
They start having like a shootout with the two bombers, and they had more bombs, so they're throwing bombs. There's like video footage,
like
of
World War III type shit
of them like hiding behind the car, like throwing bombs,
like
hiding, like shooting, whatever.
Holy shit,
dude. Finally, they run out of, like, bombs or whatever.
Right.
And there was this other guy that, like, was running through backyards, like, trying to, like, basically get on the other side of them to, like, kind of close them in.
Right. To kind of catch them off guard.
And the one bomber, like, realized this, and he starts, like, him and the other guy, the guy that was going through the backyards, are, like, shooting at each other. Then the guy runs out of bullets, the bomber, and he's like, well, I don't know what to fucking do anymore. So he walks out and starts walking towards the cops. Like, running at them, and like tackles one of the cops, right? It was the older brother.
Yeah.
The older brother gets like shot obviously on the way.
Of course.
So he's on the ground, and they're like trying to like, you know, detain him or whatever. The younger brother they kind of forgot about the younger brother because at this point we got this one like
focused. Yeah.
He gets in the car that they were driving.
The Asian guy's car?
Yes.
Okay.
Turns back around and starts driving into all the cops and where his brother's on the ground. The cops run out of the way. He runs over his brother. The brother went to the hospital. He ended up dying.
Well, right.
They were like, whoa, dude. Like, what the fuck?
What the fuck is right?
Younger brother is getting away. He gets away in the car with all these GPS, cops around him.
So it's like, okay.
So he's driving away. He abandons the car like probably, I don't know, like a mile down the road. And starts like running.
Right.
But they were so far behind him that he literally like got away.
Oh, wow.
Like you had almost had him and then you didn't. Okay. So now they're on a manhunt for this guy. They know where the car is, and they're like, we think that he's somewhere in this city, Watertown. It's not like a city. It's more like a town.
Like a,
and
suburb.
It's like, they said it was like a 4-mile like block of like
radius,
just houses and stuff. They're like, okay, so he has to be somewhere like hiding out. So they start, you know, searching door to door, house to house, everywhere. They can't find him anywhere.
That's terrible. Okay.
The next day, this guy calls, and he's like, I have this boat in my yard, like, and there's blood on the outside of the boat, and I'm pretty sure there's a person inside the boat. It was like a speedboat, and it had like a cover.
Right.
And you like see like they're like bloody like handprints on the outside of the boat.
Oh, yeah.
So the police come, and they're like, are like, okay, we think he's in this boat, but they did not want to kill him because they wanted to like
be able to
figure out what was going on.
Question him, yeah.
And they knew at this point he was a 17 or like he was like 19.
Like very young. Very, very young.
So they know he's in this boat.
Okay.
And they have all these police come. And they're just like, what do? Like we don't, and they know that he's probably like armed.
Well, right.
But they didn't want to like storm the boat and like kill him and have him shoot more
Scare
people
him so
or
much
whatever.
to that point where, yeah.
So they're like trying to figure out what to do, and also there's like the FBI, the Watertown police, the Boston police, like all these police departments involved, and there wasn't like good communication between all of the like police departments.
Which is a
so
red
like one of the
flag.
police departments starts like shooting the boat, like, and they're like, "What are you doing? We're not supposed to be doing that. Like, stop that right now."
Mm-hmm.
They ended up like shooting him a couple times, but he was still alive. He was in the boat.
So he lived. Okay.
And then he was still in the boat after that for like 20 more hours. Because they were like trying to figure, they didn't know if he was dead. They didn't know what. So they get this like drone to come in that can like, it's like infrared. So they can see if he's in the boat, if he's moving. No. I mean, it was like, I don't know if it was, but
Right.
they can see his movement basically
Right.
like, through the, like,
the
cover.
heat.
Yes.
Yeah, you can see the heat thing.
And they like are trying to figure out if he's dead or not.
Right.
But then they like eventually see that he's moving in the boat. So like, okay, he's still alive. And they're just like eventually start like trying to like convince him to come out of the boat.
Anyway, okay, so the camera, or no, not the camera, but the mic cut out, and I have to go to work anyway, so. Anyway, love you guys. Thanks for watching. This won't happen again. Love you, bye.
One day we'll get it right.
One day,
not
hopefully
today.
soon. I look hideous. Anyway.
Love you guys.
Love you.
3, let's go.